players and our team people and our fans to celebrate a great season and our great sport. I'm reporting on the Board of Governors meeting this morning, and basically it was our typical business update, things that are new and anticipated for next season. We looked at budgets, which were approved by the board for next season, which is what we typically do in June. I suppose the two most noteworthy areas of discussion and board action relate to rules changes and the discussion of franchise matters, and in particular expansion. With respect to the rule changes, and I think you've all well chronicled what was being considered, we're going to go to a 5-minute 3-on-3 during the regular season if the game's tied at the end of regulation, and after that then the shootout. We're going to implement the coach's challenge as described, and we're going to change the face-off procedure. And again, I think you're all familiar with what's involved in all three rule changes, and that was approved by the Board of Governors unanimously after it had been vetted and approved by both the general managers and the competition committee, which obviously includes the Players Association representation. On the issue of expansion, I reported on the status of the expressions of interest we continue to get from a variety of places, including Seattle, Las Vegas, and Quebec City. I also reported on the results of the season ticket drive that was conducted by Bill Foley here in Las Vegas, and the fact that he has commitments for over 13,000 season tickets, and that's from individuals, not from casinos or major corporations. Those commitments are in groups of 8 or less, so they're, I suppose, representative of fan interest here in Vegas. With all of the discussion, with all of the expressions of interest, that's all been well chronicled. The board concluded that perhaps this was the appropriate time to begin a formal expansion review process, and by that I mean we will, probably starting in early July, accept formal applications from entities, people that are interested in pursuing an expansion team. We will then go through a formal vetting process, and the board ultimately will determine whether or not there's any interest in expanding, and if the conclusion is there is interest from the league's perspective, then there'll be a focus on what the terms would be and who the successful or likely successful candidates might be. The fact that we're going through this process doesn't mean that we are going to expand. All it means is that we're going to stop just listening to expressions of interest and take a good hard look at what they actually mean and represent.